Hello, and welcome to this week's racing-based preview for September 3. Great racing coming our way on Saturday from Moonee Valley and Randwick. Plenty of Group 2 races. So, as usual, to help me try and find the winner, I've got Rick Chapman joining me. Rick, welcome. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm very healthy. Just had a run. Felt great. First time I felt great in 30 years. So I'm ready for the weekend, despite the rain that's going to come to Sydney.
Well, you're doing well then, Rick.
Sorry?
You're doing well then?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, and backing winners lately too, so I can't complain about anything.
All right, well, let's get on to these races. I think maybe we'll touch on the easiest one of the day first. We probably don't need much discussion about the Chelmsford Stakes, Rick.
No, she wins and wins easily. I think the only thing we look forward to is what her last 600 will be. And, well, if she starts. Now, here's the conundrum we face. In Sydney today, on Thursday, it's glorious. It's 24 degrees. It's beautiful drying weather. It's sun tanning weather. There is expected rain on Friday to rain all day and into Saturday morning. So how much that affects the track, I don't know. But if Chris Waller starts her, well, we know how good she is. She wins with a leg in the air. But will he run her on a really wet track if the rain does tumble down for hour upon hour? And even with that, if she does start, can she give 7 kilos to Prized Icon, who was terrific first up, and Hartnell, who was good first up? The weather's going to play a big role in this race, but you've got to think that if she runs, she wins.
You would assume so, and I think the only main question, Rick, is how do we find some value in the race? There's no point backing Winks. There's no point backing Prized Icon or Hartnell for the place to look at standouts. So for mine, I'm going to have a crack at one for the place and just hope that Hartnell or Prized Icon are just off their game, because that does look a standout trifecta for mine. Second best horse in that race has got to be Preferment. Whether he's ready first up or not, I'm not sure. He ran 4th first up last campaign, but we know he's a quality horse, and I think at $3.80 for the place, if you're going to have a punt in the race, it's pretty much the only way we're going to find some value.
Yeah, look, you're probably right. It's probably one of those races, sadly, where you just got to leave it alone and just sit back and applaud. Maybe have her in some multis, but I agree with you that looks like the trifecta. Everybody knows I love Preferment, but I'd probably actually have Storm the Stars in front of him if I was going to looking for a long price place one. But interesting to see what the exact would pay. Winks and Prized Icon, probably about $3.40, and that's not such bad value.
Yeah, look, I'd be surprised if it actually paid that, Rick, because it is a standout. I think anyone that's taking exactors will have that. So we'll see. But yeah, multiples are the way to go, I think, or that place bet. Like I said, I'll back Preferment for the place, and I think the small field suits, and he is, I think he's the second best horse in that race. So if he can produce a decent first up run, and first up last campaign when he ran 4th, he didn't have clear galloping room for most of the straight. So if he lobs on the outside, which I think he will, just in front of his 2 stable mates, Grand Marshal and Who Shot the Barman, he might get a crack at him down the outside, and like I said, great place value.
Yeah, going to be a great race. I think it'll hold our attention, that race, but from a painting perspective, the other Group 2s are better races.
Okay, over to the Tramway Stakes. Rick, have you got something picked out there? Because I'm really keen on one, but I'll hear your thoughts first.
Oh, look, everybody knows I'm a trial man, and I love horses taking natural progression. And given that, Happy Clapper wins and wins comfortably for mine. I think he's very, very good. I think he's an elite level horse. You get a beautiful run in behind the pace, and all he needs is clear in the straight, and he wins. I think the hardest to beat will be Sadler's Lake and probably Dibiani for third. But I think he's a put in, get out type of horse, Happy Clapper.
Yeah, he is. We were both on him last campaign, Rick, at big odds for the place. So he's been good to us. But Pat Webster said he's obviously a bit older this campaign. He's taken longer to come to hand, and he might need a few runs. So He's a wily old fox too, Pat Webster. So whether he's playing games there, I'm not sure. But I'm going to risk him first up, and I think Viviani, the other one you mentioned, looks a bit of a special there. So he was unsuited over 1200 first up in the Ori Star, ran a cracking race behind Sabu. Second up last campaign, he was the only horse in the race to test Winks. He looked like he might pinch that race, but then all of a sudden, Winks hit top gear and ran 2 lengths past him on the line. So, but that second up form behind Winks is cracking, and he gets into this race with the lightest weight he's carried in Australia. Stepped up to 1400 suits, and he gets the gun run right behind the speed, and I think Viviani's a standout on Saturday. So I'll be wagering heavily on that one.
I think they've done the right thing bringing him back to sprinting trips. I think he is a sprinter, not a middle distance horse, and that was the basis why I had him in my top 3. The weight scale is as you mentioned, a telling factor, but and I would not be at all surprised if he outsprints them. But I just rate Happy Clapper as a Group 1 horse. On that basis, they find a way to improve on race day.
They do, mate. All right. Well, first one for you. Happy Clapper and Viviani for me. What about the other Group 2 on the day of Furious?
What a great race. What a great race. There's 14 in it before scratchings, and I reckon 12 have got a tremendous amount of potential and have all got chances. The race will tell us, if not marred by wet weather, the race will tell us how good a horse who's not running in the race is, and that's Ome's Sword. And we know Chris Waller came out during the week and was very bullish about that she will definitely win 1, possibly 2 Group 1s this campaign. Well, that would have to tell you that she's very special, and would also have to tell us that this Baccarella, Gary Moore's horse, might be right in the hunt too, because it finished closest to Ome's Sword and the Silver Shadow first up. Now, if Baccarella can win this, you'd have to deduce from that Waller's right, and Ome's Sword is another. Well, she's taking the path of Winks, but I actually don't think. I think his other horse will win it. Awoke. I thought its trial was outstanding the other day. I don't like it being drawn deep, but if it gets back and Abdullah can get between runners, it'll storm home. But it's a terrific race. There's an enormous amount of speed in it. We don't know how good Gaysor's Global Glamour is. It won its maiden race by 100 yards. Honesty Prevails has trialled really well twice, and she ran 5th in the Golden Slipper, clearly marking herself as one of the best fillies in the land. So if she's come back, she'll be hard to beat. Waller's got Bowman on Fox Play, which generally is a sign that that's the pick of his horses. Oversteps very fast. Got Greg Ryan coming down from Dubbo to ride Rebel Miss in the race. I think it's just a fantastic race. The top weight, I'm a Star, is also in at Moonee Valley, and I think it'll probably run there given that the track might be wet, but we'll see. Gee whiz, this might be a race where you have $10 each way your horse, sit back and just watch, because it's going to be a great race because there's so many good horses in it. But Awoke, for me, to beat Baccarella, and Honesty Prevails. Yeah, it's a tough one. Like I said, sit back and watch. That's what I'll be doing, Rick. I found it too tough to pinpoint one in that race, so I'm going to leave it at that and not even have a crack. So with that said, that's Randwick covered. Let's get over to Moonee Valley, where we've got a great race in the Dato Tan Chin Nam Stakes. So you're not even going to have a stab. That's not the spirit of punting.
No, I didn't have a stab, mate. So to be honest, I don't want to falsely lead anyone down the path of a horse that I have literally no confidence in at all. So, and I could pick probably 6 or 7 there and maybe still not get a place together. I think it's that open.
That's exactly right. And I have similar thoughts about the Dato Tan Chin Nam. I just found it so hard to work out, so hard to map. I don't know which way to go, because you just don't know how good Toast and Stardom is. You don't know how good the United States is. You don't know whether the cleaner's back to his best and can win his 3rd Dato Chin Nam. We know that he's going to go forward. We know that Excess Knowledge will go forward. We know Mahuta's going to be right there. Entirely Platinum won't be too far away. It is the hardest race I've seen in about 87 years. It's so hard to work out and so hard to pick a winner. but I like to have a stab. So I'm going to go for the United States because, like Happy Clapper, I rate him as a potential Group 1 horse of elite level category. So I'm going to go for him to win from Miss Rose Delago, who has to drop out and run home. Jamaica also has to drop out and run home because they're barriers. And there was another one I liked there. Tosin Stardom, you have to keep him in there because he's so good. But United States to win from Jamaica and Miss Rose Delago for mine.
Okay, well, you've got one of my topics there, the United States. Rick, he never runs a bad race at Moonee Valley. Generally tackles the Valley first up over 1,500. I think he's better suited over 16. The gate's a bit of concern. I don't know where he's going to get to from there. And the thing is, even when he draws wide and has to drop back to last, he still figures in the finish. So, as I said, I think 2 lengths is the furthest he's finished back, and all his starts at the Valley. And quite a few of them over this trip too. So he's a standout, I think, for the placings. But Tosin Stardom, the one you mentioned for Weary, we've got a really good guide to line him up here, Rick. With there was a jump out at Mortlake where Blackheart Bart was in the jump out. He led the field for home. Tosin Stardom sat 3 wide the whole way, was just briefly pushed along and went whoosh past Blackheart Bart. Now, we've seen that form stack up last week. Blackheart Bart destroyed that Group 1 field. So, and then the fact that Weary said that the last 2 weeks since that jump out, Tosin Stardom has come on immensely. I think we might see a big performance on Saturday from the former Japanese horse.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that, and he will definitely be one of the ones I'll be on to because he's the best horse in the race. I just didn't know how forward he was in his condition, but they appear to be classes above them, the United States and Tosin Stardom. So, all right, I'll change my tips on the basis of your confidence there. The United States to win from Tosin Stardom and Jamaica.
Yeah, well, he's drawn barrier 5-2, the Weary, so he's going to get the gun run behind him, I think, and that just suits well with a bit of speed on this race. You see the way anyone that wants to watch his replay, in my Dato Tantinam stakes piece, I put a copy of the video in there for his jump out. Go and watch the jump out, see how wide he sits, and see how easily he goes past Blackheart Bar. You'll see this horse in for a big campaign. So, Tosin Stardom for me from the United States, just the other way around from yours, Rick.
Yeah, yeah. The other Group 2 race on the program is the McEwen Stakes, and well, if she draws 1 to 3, Heatherly wins by 100 yards, but she's drawn 10. She's going to have to get across, and if Shydell jumps, that's going to be a hard task. But still, I think she's better than them, so I'm going to have to tip Heatherly. But I probably won't have much of a punt in this race if I have a bet at all. But Heatherly to win from Shydell and Furnaces.
Yeah, I like Heatherly as well, Rick. It's hard not to. She's a very consistent type. But on mapping alone, I'm going against her, and I'm going for Kieran Maher's horse, Chloe in Paris. So she shows a lot of speed as well. First up after a year off last campaign, she won by 5 lengths at the Valley and just did it in a canter in good time as well. She's had another year off. She comes back into this race, and the thing that caught my attention firstly was Damien Oliver was aboard Wild Rain, who pretty speedy, and she was very impressive winning first up. Ollie's off Wild Rain and jumps on Chloe in Paris. So she's drawn barrier 8 inside of Heatherly. So both of those are going to go quick. And there are a couple that are going to kick up on the inside. So Heatherly, if she wants to cross and lead, she'll have to do way too much work. But I think she's going to sit on the outside of Chloe in Paris in the run. And just with that inside advantage, I can see Ollie pushing her along just before the turn, getting a bit of a break and really giving something for Heatherly to catch. So at $14, I'm with Chloe in Paris each way. I think she can hold on at least for the place, if not win. And seeing some good value there.
Yeah, no, it'd be a good race. Those mad dashes always are quite interesting races.
Yeah, and O'Malley got home really well last time behind Headley too, but he needs to have worse at the weights this time. So I did like his run, but it's that weight factor, and I agree. Headley's a bit of a standout, but I just think if she has to do too much work and has to try and catch Colleen Paris, who always jumped aboard, maybe she's the one.
Time will tell.
That's it. Well, plenty picked out Saturday. You got a best of the weekend, Rick?
No, just the ones we've pretty much mentioned. I'm interested from a racing perspective to see if Fast and Rocking can overcome in some mountable odds and win that. But I'm going to watch that race because that's the sprint race, because anyone that can win 6 races in a row has got to be good, especially if it runs 108 for 1,200 metres. And this handsome tycoon, I'm not saying it can win, but he's won 6 in a row, and he ran 108 at his last start to win over 1,200 metres. And obviously he's been thrown in the deep end against these horses, but I just like that theatre of racing really appeals to me, and I'm going to watch that with interest. But very keen to see Winks go around, very keen to see the United States and Towson Stardom go around. And that'd probably be my bets for the week. DIC, I think, in the first race is a bit of a chance too.
Yeah, I'll be cheering home Winks as well, Rick. She's great for racing at least, and she's just such a great horse to watch. The way she lets down, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, and her knee's not hurting her this time up because she's had an operation. Anyway, all good. Hope everybody wins. Wouldn't that be a great day?
Absolutely. All right. Good luck the weekend, guys, and we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Good on you guys. All the best.